This is one of the most important conversations in sim racing right now. So many sim racers feel like we're being priced out of our hobby, with wheels now selling for ridiculous amounts. With motorsport already so expensive, costing millions of pounds a year to even get close to an F1 seat, is sim racing going fast the same way, or are we instead just getting some of the most incredible wheels in history in a sim racing golden age? Well, in order to find out, I travelled the world to get hands-on with the best sim racing wheel in history. That's a SimLab Mercedes AMG F1 wheel, and in something that's never been done before, put it head to head with a budget F1 wheel from Thrustmaster, one that many of you will know and love. So the question is simple: is the AMG wheel worth $2,300 more at least, more than the SF1000, or are people wasting their money buying the AMG and getting the bargain of the century with the Thrustmaster? And by the way, this isn't just my opinion. I've been speaking with the world's fastest drivers too. Well, to start, we need to talk facts. We need to talk materials, because if there isn't a big difference here, we're just getting ripped off. And the SimLab F1 wheel is handcrafted with a carbon fiber shell. The wheel weighs approximately about 1,200 grams, which does ensure both strength and lightweight performance. And that strength is key. It's not light in a cheap way. It really does feel like it can handle the most powerful sim racing wheelbases. But the Thrustmaster SF1000 also features carbon fiber in a 100% carbon fiber central faceplate with a weight of about 1,300 grams. But remember, the carbon fiber faceplate is only a few millimeters thick. Obviously, for the price, you're not going to get full carbon fiber. And the very interesting question is it worth paying a lot more for extra carbon fiber you won't particularly see? Well, in order to understand, I spoke with some of the world's fastest drivers. These are drivers that understand exactly what is the difference between a great wheel and an average wheel, and sometimes we just don't see. And here's some very interesting pros about the SimLab wheel, but also a small con.
We're going to ask Mitchy Hoyer, genuinely one of the fastest esports drivers in the world.
First of all, you see a very great display, like a built-in display that is not like, you can easily clean it, which is
it's not recessed.
It's not recessed, it's not being built in. It is probably something very minor, but of course if you want to have perfect vision, it's easy to get, like, who cares if some whatever is still on the shape. What's interesting about that wheel, you can set it up in two ranges. So there's a basic range where, like, every button is just working and every rotary is doing something, or even nothing. I think they might only change some brightness on the standard mode. But if you go expert mode, you can really select programs and then change the settings. In Formula 1, if Lewis Hamilton was told high HPP for, like, high performance powertrain, high PP 7,
yes, to go into a
position 12.
Yeah.
So that is what he has done.
Yeah, and I think it feels like a new generation of these replicas.
It does.
You might look at the front.
I wouldn't even call it a replica, to be
It's like it's basically the real.
It is licensed. So it is the official CAD data, it got the official buttons, it got probably also the official programming, what's possible in the real car.
It's not they tried to replicate it and get it approved, it's actually from the CAD data, it's just they've remade the,
And there's a really interesting point there, which is the wheel is fully licensed. It's more than a replica, the SimLab wheel. And I think this is a huge difference for some people. It means it's connected with the F1 car. It's part of the incredible history of, say, Lewis Hamilton winning so many drivers' championships with Mercedes, and you're not going to quite have the same connection with the Thrustmaster wheel. Now, is that worth paying for? That's going to be a big question. But when I was in New York and I was around Lewis Hamilton's car and trying this wheel next to the actual car that was going off for auction for millions and millions of dollars, you can't beat it. At this level, sometimes you almost can't buy these sort of things.
And I think this is a new generation of what we're seeing in wheels. We've got stuff like the VPG Mustang wheel is like the same, it comes off the same assembly line we've got there. But if you want something that's just got a logo, you can look at something like a Thrustmaster SF1000 that has not come off the same assembly line and has got a carbon fiber facade. But now you have, like, the real thing. But interestingly, there's this contradiction between performance and having the ultimate branded closest thing to the real thing. So I think this wheel, and I'll just show you the rear as well, because you've got, is that the classic, Hamilton does his clutch like thing over the top, like this is it's just a clutch on one side. You don't have clutch paddles, it's just a clutch, which is quite interesting and also obviously authentic. And we've got really nice bar shifter as well, and it is super light.
However, on the other hand though, what they've really done is, like, when you switch the rotaries, they are kind of heavy, so I'm not sure if I'm, like, sitting in the wheel, like the wheel's going like this. Can I be sure
When you're at an angle?
Yeah, when I'm at an angle or when I want to change something. To be clicking the thing without misclicking, I don't know.
I don't know how much it costs.
2.6?
2.6.
Roughly,
so,
2.5, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's the ultimate thing for any Mercedes fan. And obviously SimLab are coming out with their mad DDs as well.
Now, I'm not an esports driver. I think I'm pretty quick at sim racing. So I wanted to give you my honest thoughts of the SimLab F1 wheel on the rig, on a really powerful wheelbase. So I took it onto iRacing, and these are my thoughts.
Well, my first impressions are, it just screams quality. And something I'm worried about, and we're going to test, I'll take my hands off the steering wheel down the straight, is to see if you have such a light steering wheel, is that going to lead to more oscillation, or is it just going to be easier to drive? Take my hands off here and just see what it's going to be like. And there is no oscillation. The grips are just so nice. I mean, grip probably looked the same on camera from a lot of different companies. I can tell you these grips are super, super, super squeezable, but still giving you that resistance. Although interestingly, there is a WhatsApp button here. So I assume that if you're sim racing and your dinner's ready, your mum can call you and you can answer via WhatsApp and say, I'm just finishing my laps at Zandvoort. Oh no, I don't want to install the anti-stall.
So given everything we've learned in this video so far, do we think that the SimLab F1 wheel actually is value for money, or is it way too expensive? Is it kind of ripping off people? I have to say, having seen the wheel in various different places around the world, having tried it, having spoken with people about it, I think it is delivering on its premise of being the most authentic sim racing wheel in the world, perhaps the fastest as well, but there is a massive premium to pay for it. I think if you have the money, I think you're not going to regret buying it. I think it's something that is just going to be a collector's item forever, basically, and it's a way of uniquely tapping in to how dominant that Mercedes car was, particularly at the hands of Lewis Hamilton. However, I want to leave you with this. I do also think the Thrustmaster is really good value for money and also gives you about 90% of the feeling of the SimLab F1 wheel. You're going to be on a wheel that looks like the car in the real game. If you're doing the F1 game, it looks like identical, and you're going to have that big Ferrari logo, and you still got a screen and stuff like that as well. So if, like me, you can't afford the SimLab, because I certainly can't, but I can afford the Ferrari, don't worry, you're still getting 90% of the experience. So I think maybe it is actually a golden age for sim racing, and there's just lots of choice. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.